Make the team, but he said, Corey, you're not very good. But we need you for the fights over at St. Cyril's and St. Stan's, so you can be on the team. And Bess, it's good to see you up here representing the other side of the table here. I'm a big advocate for women's sports, and I'm now a big advocate for women umpires. And I'm trying to persuade the MLB and everybody to have women umpires and stuff, and they have no argument against it, except one. They said, well, we can't have them as umpires in baseball because they bring up every detail of the argument. And not only that, they start arguing about arguments they had before. So they're not going to let it happen. So, but Bess, I love that you're here. I'm very proud of you. Thank you. And Tony's going to learn. He's never going to ask me to do this again because you put a microphone in my hand and I just don't play. I just want to tell you one story, one quick story. This has happened to me before, that I've gotten in the midst of great athletes, not being an athlete myself. A good friend of mine, Jerry Gaube, who is a great athlete in his own right, he's in back there with his son Tommy, we found ourselves living in Springfield, Massachusetts together, believe it or not. And Jerry at the time was bird dog scouting for the Yankees, because he's from the Yankees organization. So we usually play golf on Saturday morning, but he says, I got two kids I want somebody to come look at on Saturday morning before we play golf. Why don't you come over Friday night and stay over, and then we'll go show this guy the kids, and then we'll go golf. I said, fine. So Friday night I go to his house, I get the baseball encyclopedia out. Now the guy he's waiting for is a guy by the name of John Kennedy. He was a utility infielder for everybody. His name should have been Suitcase. He played for everybody. But I'm reading through the stats and I see he never played first base except once, like in Milwaukee or something. So the Saturday morning comes and we go visit him, we pick him up on the thruway, and we take him to go sit, and we're driving to where we're going to go see these two kids try out. So he had been in Albany the night before, so I said, how was your looking at people in Albany? He says, well, I don't even know why they had me up there, because they had me look at a guy playing first base. He couldn't move to his right. He couldn't throw. I said to him, what the hell do you know about playing first base? You've never played first base in your life except once in Milwaukee. And he's turned around to look at Jerry and he says, who the hell is this guy? So we go to see the kids play, and he's one's a pitcher, one's a catcher. So Jerry's out there with him on the mound and everything. I'm sitting in the dugout. Pretty soon, John Kennedy comes into the dugout and sits down next to me and says, what should I do? Now, I've never played a game of baseball in my life. I said, oh, I don't know, sign him. All it costs you is a pair of sneakers or cleats or something. Just send him down to the floor to leave. And he did. Signed the guy. I got somebody signed in the majors. He washed out pretty quick, but that was all. But I'm so honored, Tony. Thank you for having me here. And this is great. I've been telling people we haven't had anything like this since the old St. Bonnie's Day dinners. And this brings back great memories, and all of these great people here, I'm very grateful. It occurs to me when I am in the presence of great athletes that even prayer is a team sport. It's one thing to pray for yourself or pray for others that you love, but when you have others praying with you, the power is so great. And you know the power of team sport. All of you are great individual athletes, but you are on teams and you know the team power. Let us pray that team power tonight. Father, we ask your blessing upon all those who are gathered here. We ask you to bless them and their families. Bless especially our honorees and their families. Thank them with grace for their contribution to their community through their performance. Bless Mr. Quagliata and all those who work so hard to put on this event. Bless those who are serving us. Bless the food we are about to partake of. And as always, remember those who are less fortunate and work hard to help them as well. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Bon appetit, qui bono salute.
Thank you, Father. We'd like to start our program off here, as you're getting ready to have your meal, by welcoming a man who had a vision for this, a dream. Many people had a dream, but Tony Poliana made the dream come true for us here tonight. Tony is the man who has directed the organization of this wonderful dinner and the Hall of Fame selection and inductions here tonight. Won't you please welcome Tony Poliana. Tony?
Thanks, Raj. Welcome, honorees, inductees, families, and everyone for coming. Please keep eating. We're trying to catch up and get you out of here in a respectable time. So continue eating as you're being served. I just thought I'd give you a little background on how this maybe came about and how we're all here tonight. And I think Father touched on it about the Bonnie dinner. A couple years back, talking to a couple of different people, and we said, hey, you know, we kind of missed the old St. Bonnie dinners. Just about everybody here remembers them. They went on for 50 years. It ended in 1998. I think Joe Torre was the last speaker, the Bonnie speaker. So it was that idea, and I thought, geez, maybe I can get some people we can work on and get something like that together. Then I bumped into John Cavely, and he said, hey, why don't you honor all our great sports people here? We've had so many, and you know, let's honor them. I said, wow, that's a tremendous idea. And then I remembered every year that Syracuse has one, the Hall of Fame dinner, and it's on TV. Actually, they show it locally here. And I said, oh, why don't we just combine 2-3 items here and put it all together? And that's what we did. And that's two of our objectives with that. Obviously, they've had national speaker at Bonnie's, sports celebrity, and we're lucky to have Chris Snee in our midst. And the fact that he's a local person, and I consider Montrose local, makes it even doubly so of what we're trying to do, honoring our local people. So we're very grateful that Chris is able to join us tonight. And obviously the other component was honoring our people. And man, the committee did an unbelievable job. I mean, I can't think, obviously there's a few more people well deserved in the first year, and I'm sure they'll get in sometime. But boy, that seals it. The 16 individuals that are being inducted are the cornerstones, and certainly are legends of sport in this community. So that's two things out the way. The third thing was to try to get something further back to the community. And by that, picking a nonprofit organization. It was kind of tough, especially the first year to do it. But we decided to go with the Boys and Girls Club of Binghamton and Western Broome. So they'll receive partial proceeds of tonight's whole event. And the fourth thing is obviously our goal is down the road to hopefully have some kind of central location in the greater Binghamton area where the plaques that they'll be, well, they won't receive those plaques, but the Hall of Fame plaques where people can come and see them in the years ahead, and if possible, expand it. So some of the proceeds will go towards those. On a good note, we've already had Bill Del Mall and Nancy Phillips, who've been very gracious to allow us some temporary space up at the Opium Mall. I'm not sure quite when, but hopefully in the next few weeks, whenever Nancy says it's okay. So we're grateful for that. So I guess we have a temporary home for a while. So we'll be going. So thank you, Nancy. The next thing was very important was credibility. You just don't say, oh, let's have a Hall of Fame, let's have a Hall of Fame dinner. You got to have some kind of credibility. And that usually takes a little time, but just for circumstance, the people I've known happen to be great individuals themselves and worthy of being inducted at some point in time into this hall. So when you got guys like, I hope I'm not missing anybody here, but Dave Birch, Tommy Cordial, unfortunately can't make it. He sends his regrets. Dick Foley, John Fox, Roger Neal, Tim Shum, and Michelle Tiddick, right away. That's our honoree selection committee. They established credibility just by putting the 7 names on a piece of paper. So I'm very thankful for them. Thank you. Those are the ones that whittled down about over 100 people who got to a final 16 for this year. So great job. I do want to take the time. Go ahead, please eat. We're trying to catch up a little bit here. I want to thank the sponsors. And number one, I got to thank, as you people know, when we start to do anything, the first person or the first organization to come on board, that's maybe a tougher one to get on board. If it's a credible one, then hopefully a couple other people come, and that's what's happening. Visions Federal Credit Union, I cannot say thank you enough. You were the first one to step forward in a good way, a sizable way. And once you said yes, I knew we were going to have a dinner. I knew we were going to have a Hall of Fame. It was just a matter of to what level we could bring it. So thank you for starting us off. Real quick, as you can see on the screen, the other people were very instrumental. A.O. George Distributor, Greater Binghamton Development, Apco Screen Printing, Scoville Mino Family Dealerships, Inman Howard Hotel, Security Mutual Life, Equinox Broadcasting, Town Square Media, and also Fox 40 TV. Those are the key, plus the people you see in your booklet that sponsor our ad. Thank you very much. And a quick thank you to the Boys and Girls Club of Bulls and also the Uptown Mall for helping us promote it and also helping us selling tickets. And lastly, I just want to say, I think we hopefully have a great evening planned for you. It doesn't take much planning. All I got to do is get 10 people here and 6 representatives, and the evening's already planned. So that's solid. I got to admit, it's going to be slightly long, but for good reasons, because we have unbelievably great people. There's 16 of them to induct. So please bear with us. And I bet you anything, you guys will be pleased after. Because I know already, and I know a couple people I've talked to, as these inductees come here to accept their award, you're going to get a lot of flashback memories. Hopefully they're all good. So I think you're going to enjoy the evening. So again, I hope you enjoy the evening as much as we did presenting it to you. And as we say in Italian, that Father beat me to, buon appetito. Thank you.
We're very happy tonight to have as our keynote speaker. First of all, who is a Giants fan in this audience? Huh? Well, it looks like we picked the right speaker tonight, I think. What do you think, huh? Our keynote speaker had a standout career playing for the New York Giants, and he hails from nearby Montrose, Pennsylvania, so really one of our greater Binghamtonians. One of the neat things about this whole evening is that people here are bullish and love our area. This is a great celebration, not just for outstanding athletes and sports figures, but it's a celebration of the greater Binghamton area too, including Montrose, because people here are so happy to be from here and spend time here, family here, and have enjoyed growing up, and in many cases still live here too. That's wonderful. Chris Lee, a 4-time Pro Bowl selection, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, a 3-time All-Pro, spent 10 seasons playing with the New York Giants. And of course to Montrose, from there on to Boston College, stand out there, All-American with Boston College. Made his National Football League debut not too far away from his home area, Philadelphia. He played against the Eagles, and he helped block for Tiki Barber as he ran for 125 yards that day. And I know the offensive lineman will say, Tiki, that was a lot due to us, and I'm sure it was. Congratulations on a tremendous career. Let's take a little look back at some of the highlights from this All-Pro with us here tonight.
Well, to me, I mean, when you put that uniform on, you're not playing for yourself. You're playing for all your teammates, for your coaches, the organization, the fans. I mean, it's more than an individual, putting on a jersey and going out and playing the game. And you play with passion. You play for the team.
Yeah, I think Chris has done everything we've ever asked for him from a football standpoint, and he's been a great player. He's been a great leader, and we've had a good run together. He's been a great friend of mine. We were roommates our first year when we were on the road or traveling, so we've been through a lot together. He's a warrior. Have great confidence when he's out there on the field with you that he's going to be competing and he's going to be doing a great job.
Chris needs a guy that definitely has helped me come along. He's one of those guys that doesn't say much, but when he speaks to you, especially individually, you want to pay attention. You want to know exactly what he's saying. He's a guy that you can depend on, especially on the field. He lays it all out on the field for us each and every week for a number of years. I say to myself, if I could be half the player he is and going out there and not complaining ever. You never hear him make a complaint. You never hear him bad-mouthing a teammate. He's always going out there putting his best foot forward. Now, if I could be half the teammate he is, I'll be doing well.
Spade.
Man, that video makes me close to tearing up again. You know, it's still so soon that my career is over. But good evening. When I received in the mail the material from the Binghamton Sports Hall of Fame that had a list of honorees and the selection committee, it also included a sheet detailing the requirements for the featured speaker for this inaugural dinner. The first was that the person be a national sports figure. I'm not sure I qualify, but I am extremely happy and proud to be here tonight. For those of you who might not be familiar with me, I retired last season after playing 10 years in the New York Giants. I was fortunate to play on 2 Super Bowl winning teams. I brought the hardware tonight for everyone to see. I enjoyed every minute of my football career, beginning at Montrose High School, which is just about 30 minutes from here at Boston, then at Boston College, and then in the NFL. Whenever someone asks me where I'm from, I always say northeastern Pennsylvania, somewhere between Scranton and Binghamton, because nobody knows where Montrose is. But this area has always been special to me. I know this is Giants country up here. That is one of the reasons I am familiar with so many of the inductees of this inaugural class. All of them had impressive achievements as athletes or coaches or both. But when I look at them, I don't think of statistics they accumulated or the honors they received. I don't think of how many points King Rice or Bess Greenberg scored, how many tackles Isaiah Kazavinsky made, or how many touchdowns Bob Campbell scored. How many games Dick Baldwin, Fran Angeline, or Dick Hoover won as coaches. Or even how many arguments Ron Luciano had with Major League umpires. What comes to mind, first and foremost, is the positive difference they have made in countless lives far beyond their own. They inspired so many others through their words and accomplishments. Isn't that what we all strive for? To make a difference and to impact others? That is what every one of the men and women we honor tonight did in their careers and in their lives. When I reflect on my football career, it's not about specific plays or games or even the championships we won. My first thoughts are about the people I played with and for. In high school and in college, I had teammates who were leaders and led by example, and I tried to emulate them. When I joined the Giants in 2004, the offensive linemen already on the team, some of you may know them, Richie Soyber, Sean O'Hara, David Deal, showed me what it took to be successful in the NFL. Another rookie that season was someone you've all heard of and spoke in the video, Eli Manning. Eli is not the loudest or most demonstrative football player you'll ever meet. Actually, the opposite is true. But in 10 years we were teammates, he set an example for everyone through his dedication, preparation, and work ethic, just as the men and women we honor here tonight did. But it was my coaches who probably influenced me greatest in my athletic career. Coaches have a profound impact on the lives and careers of those they lead. It is no coincidence to me that so many great coaches are among the first inductees of this Hall of Fame, because they shaped so many lives during their long tenures on benches and sidelines and locker rooms. Tom Coughlin, another name I know you recognize, and one of the coaches so important to me, likes to say that coaching is making men do what they don't want to do so they can become what they want to be. My high school coach was Tom Luceni, who is probably familiar with some of you here tonight. I never played youth football because I was too heavy. So my career began at Montrose High School. Luceni was the coach who taught me the basics, including how to get in a stance. He was the first coach to impress upon me the importance of having an unwavering work ethic. His philosophy was the more physical team will win the game. As much as football has changed with passing games becoming more prevalent and popular, the importance of Coach Luceni's brand of physical football still holds true. He would often travel to Boston, to New Jersey to watch me play with the Giants, and to this day, he's one of my closest friends. A man that I visited on my way up here today. With the Giants, I played for two coaches in my 10-year career that influenced me greatly. Tom Coughlin and my offensive line coach, again. He taught me how to be a pro. You can't rely on just talent alone. I couldn't imagine playing for any coach who had his players more prepared than Coach Flaherty did. We covered everything, and I mean everything. Whenever a group of young linemen would come in, Coach Flaherty would remind them, this is your job. There's only so many of them. I bought into that. It was my job, and I was going to approach it as if nobody was going to take it from me. I couldn't imagine becoming the Pro Bowl player I was without him. And I can make the same statement about Tom Coughlin. He was the Giants head coach for my entire career, and as you guys know, my father-in-law. When the Giants selected me in the second round of the 2004 draft, there were a lot of questions about how such a relationship would play out on an NFL team, and whether I would receive preferential treatment, which did not happen, trust me. Neither of us wanted to discuss it, though. I'm not sure how many people could have handled that situation. My demeanor and my approach helped. I'm a laid-back person, and I had goals I was determined to reach, just as Coach did. He helped me become a better player and a better man. I've always wanted a hard-nosed coach who demanded a lot, but only demanded what he knew you could do, and that is him to a T. Were there times when I would go home and complain to my wife, Kate? Absolutely. But she didn't want to hear it. And while I did not have the privilege of meeting all the honorees who we recognize tonight, I am certain they shared many of the same outstanding qualities as the coaches I just told you about. Whether they were players, coaches, administrators, they challenged those who worked with and for them. They demanded those they worked with be the best they could be at all times. And they motivated countless individuals to always strive to reach that goal, and to do it within the rules and with dignity and grace. I'd like to think that I'm following in their footsteps. As my career progressed, I made it a part of my job to help all the young linemen who came into our room, whether they wanted it or not. I helped them in the weight room, taught them how to be a pro. After I retired, I looked for a job. I realized quickly that quality time at home is great, but after a while, I needed something to do. I entertained many ideas. With Wall Street, but it all came back to my love for football. That's all I wanted to do. Last year, I volunteered at a local high school. I coach youth once a week to this day. Been getting involved with the Giants a little bit and trying to figure out what my next step will be, but I know it will involve the game of football because it's meant so much to my development. I became a successful NFL player thanks in part to the help I received from my teammates and coaches at every level. I was inspired by them, just as I'm sure so many others have been inspired by the 16 men and women we honor tonight with their induction to the Binghamton Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you. I guess at this point, if there's any questions, I am here to answer them. I'm going to make it real easy, no questions.
What's the best memory you have of the Super Bowl years?
Probably the time that I got to spend with my children on the field. I think, especially the second one, two of my children were old enough to be on the field with me, and to get to celebrate with them and to hold the trophy and to go up on the podium is a memory that I'll cherish forever. Honestly, I feel like I'm getting softer as I retire, but I feel like I can cry again.
What is it?
Well, I know that you got a very big fan over here, Joe Crowley, because Joe Crowley is a Montrose boy. So I know he's going to want to ask you something here. So he always talks about you. Trust me.
Okay.
All right, here you go.
Thanks, head coach of the Binghamton High School football team. My brother-in-law, Mike Rubio.
I knew there had to be a connection there. So.
We figured that out. That was good. What level do you plan to coach at? Like pro, college, or undecided yet?
I'm still undecided. You know, I think I always said high school. I did a little bit of that last year, but I love the Giants so much. I love being around. You know, really, what is hard for when you retire is just the team, that team feeling, that being part of that team, and having been with the Giants for 10 years is very special to me. So I'd like to think I could go back and help them in some way.
See yourself staying in this part of the country?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, where I live in New Jersey is 2 hours from my parents in Pennsylvania and this area, so I'm not going to.
Now that you're not under the auspices of Tom Coughlin, is there something you have to say about him now that you couldn't say when you were a player?
That's correct. No, there is not. No more questions from you. You're done.
I'm just looking for, here's a coach from Union Endicott. He wants to ask you something. Coach?
You did a great job up there.
Thank you.
It's such a wonderful job. I think you answered all the questions that I have right now. Actually, you know, I met your brother because he was doing some volunteer work. I was going to do some volunteer work at Union Endicott, coaching as well. And I think with his work schedule, it didn't pan out, but it seems like your work schedule isn't free, so if you'd like to volunteer your time at Union Endicott, we'll take it.
It's a bit of a commute, but I'll entertain you.
You'd rather have me ask questions, wouldn't you? I'm not putting you to work. Anyone? That's Mayor Matt Ryan over here in the backfield.
What do you see as us rabid Giants fans? We're waiting for another championship. What do you think for next year?
I think you have to be encouraged with the way it ended. I think you saw the offense grow. And, there was so many injuries. I mean, that's the key. I mean, you have to stay relatively healthy towards the end of the year. So I think, but you have to be excited about having the 9th overall pick. Really, you need a guy in that slot, not a developmental player, but just someone that can come in and make an impact. So I'm excited to see what they take.
Out of all the teams you played, which team did you look forward to playing, and which teams did you hate playing?
You want me to go in order? Well, you're the Eagle fan, right? Yeah. Good tops on the list. Good tops, yeah. The rivalry between those two teams, whether it's the proximity, but something about that game, it was a physical game. We did not like each other. So it would go Philly, Dallas, and then Washington.
We got a question up front here for you.
When I have a son who's 5, and when do you think is a good time to get them involved in football? Like, when do you think this is appropriate?
Well, it's your comfort. I mean, it's your decision, whatever you're comfortable with. But I have 3 boys, and we didn't let. My oldest is 11. We let him play for the first time this year. I really just wanted him to grow, and develop. You know, I didn't think he was ready at 7 years old. In my opinion, I don't think many kids are. But that's my opinion.
How about the 49er linebacker that just retired due to, he didn't even take any hits really, but he pulled out his fear of concussion. You see yourself doing something like that as far as, you know, preventing concussions, that kind of stuff?
You know, I'll say this. I played 18 years of football, and I had 1 concussion. Had I had another one, I didn't have my first until year 8 in the NFL. So if I had another one, I was prepared to walk away just because I was afraid of the long-term consequences. So I respect his decision. I'm sure it was a difficult one to make.
Okay, we have one more back here in the back. Mr.
I
Armand.
can't reach. You think they tell me?
Okay, quick
A
question.
lot of holes. I don't know.
As far as the toughest player you ever played against, other than Isaiah, who's the toughest?
You can judge players, toughness on different things, whether it's just being intelligent players like Leonard Fletcher was, knowing where the play was going. Just a physical tool set, like a Dominican Sue has, or just sheer mass, like a Vince Wilfork, who's, loaded to move out of there. So there's challenges. Every player has their own strength. So for me to pick one player that I've gone against, I can't do that. There's a lot. There were no easy opponents. I wish there was, but.
Anyone else? Okay, yeah. Phil Donahue here. Thanks for being here, John Fox. Where is that? Where? Right here. There you go.
What tools did Tom Coughlin have that made him a great coach and someone that you really inspired you guys to win two championships, Super Bowls?
Well, I think just the big thing is you don't have to be whatever your coaching philosophy is, you need your entire team to buy in. So, Pete Carroll has his players buy in. He's got a different style than Coach Coughlin. He always held us accountable. In the first few years I was there, we didn't have a full locker room of guys who bought in. So they slowly weeded those players out. And by the end, years when his job was on the line, and everyone was saying fire coach. We all had his back. The jokes have come out. Of course, I would say that, but every player in that locker room loves him and gives him the max effort every time.
That was the last one working for me.
You did a great job, sir. Thank you very much.
Chris Steele, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Chris. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Coming up, we're going to be introducing our adoptees here in just a moment. But first, we want to have a little review of a video done by Josh Williams from Tea Times 3. This is a tremendous video of our inductees and the celebrants here this evening. Hey, great job, Josh. Thank you. Tremendous video. Thank you. All right, let's get our induction ceremonies underway here. We start things off with our first honoree of the evening, Alex Alexander. Alex, a lifelong resident of Endicott and the driving force in establishing the BC Open Golf Tournament. Under Alex's direction, the tournament grew from a PGA satellite event in 1971 to full PGA Tour status in 1973. And of course on to a premier sporting event and community event for more than 3 decades. Under Alex's leadership, the BC Open turned into a huge source of pride for the entire area. Alex and his staff organized thousands of volunteers over the years to run what many of the pros thought was the best run tournament on tour. The BC Open attracted most of the game's greats over the years, including an always fan favorite horseheads native Joey Sindelar, a 2-time BC Open champ. When you walked the course during Joey's time in the tournament, it wasn't just who was a leader, it was how is Joey doing. If Joey was doing well, things were well on the course. The BC Open became known for giving young, aspiring pros a chance to compete and get their start in professional golf. The man behind those opportunities, Alex Alexander. Nowhere were golfers treated better, and nowhere made them feel quite as at home as playing at Enjoy and participating in the BC Open. Following the departure of the regular tour, that caring and concern fostered by Alex over the years paved the way for the Champions Tour to arrive in the form of the Dick's Sporting Goods Open. Many of those pros who got their first chance to play in a tournament took the word to all in power when the PGA and the Champions Tour said you've got to keep a tournament at Enjoy. A lot of the roots because of Alex Alexander. The BC Open also treated the caddies in fine fashion and always conducted a caddies tournament, which they named the Alex Alexander Memorial Caddy Classic. Until 2010, Alex served as executive director of Broome Community Charities Incorporated, which was a charitable arm of the BC Open and the Dick's Open. Over the years, that charitable arm has donated millions to community and local youth groups and medical facilities all around our area. Alex was also a devoted father. He served on numerous boards and fundraising projects and also was a proud World War II veteran who was part of D-Day for our country in 1944. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alex Alexander for induction. His award will be accepted by his son, Lou Alexander.
On behalf of the Alexander family, I'd like to thank the Sports Hall of Fame Selection Committee for honoring our father. In helping to bring professional golf to our area, our dad saw the BC Open and subsequently the Dick's Sporting Goods Open as a tribute to and a legacy for this community, which he dearly loved. I know that he would be sincerely touched by this recognition tonight, but that he would see this honor as one that he shared with the many volunteers in this community who were instrumental in making the golf tournament a success year to year. So again, our thanks.
Our second inductee tonight, Richard Baldwin. In February of 1987, Broome Community College coach Nick Baldwin broke Kentucky coach Adolph Rupp's all-time wins record with his 867th career victory. He became the winningest active college coach in any 2- or 4-year school. In 40 years as head coach at Broome, Coach Baldwin logged 879 victories. He had 25 straight winning seasons and led his teams to 9 berths in the National Junior College Sweet 16, played in Hutchinson, Kansas. In 1991, he came out of coaching retirement to take over the reins at SUNY Binghamton. From 1991 to 95, his teams logged 82 victories. His teams also won an average of 16 games. They captured 3 consecutive SUNYAC East titles. Coupled with his total wins at Broome, Coach Baldwin won 961 career games. Along with tonight's honor, Coach Baldwin earned membership into 5 other halls of fame, including a charter member of the National Junior College Basketball Hall of Fame. On February 19th of 1994, Coach Baldwin was featured in a 4-page article in Sports Illustrated. Whether he had a talented team or was some pieces missing, he found a way to win, to teach the game and improve his players and teams over the course of decades. It's tough enough to win, any coach will tell you, with lots of talented players, but a coach who wins year in and year out often has to find a way. He has to work with the talent he has and make something special of that talent, and that is exactly what Coach Baldwin did. Here to accept the Hall of Fame Induction Award for Dick Baldwin is his daughter, Sandy Thomas.
Thank you. The footage on the documentary was Chronicle of a Coach by Ron Capolasis, the part about my dad, and it was about the Hornets' 1964 season. Ron's an author, filmmaker, and former player of my dad. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Tony, and the selection committee, and all of those who helped plan this event tonight. You started an important tradition for Binghamton. My father would be very, very proud to be included in this Hall of Fame because he loved Binghamton, he loved basketball, and he loved coaching. Congratulations to all the members of this first class of the inductees. It's fitting to me that my father and the esteemed sports writer John Fox would both be honored on the same night in the same class as their careers intertwined for 63 years. In 1949, the first morning of his tenure as a sports writer in Binghamton, John Fox typed the letters D-I-C-K, B-A-L-D-W-I-N. In 2012, 63 years later, now a sports writer emeritus, he would write a biographical story entitled Ever Richer the Lion-Hearted for Dick Baldwin's memorial service. I'm grateful for their long friendship and respect, and for you, John, for writing the story of my father. You are a master. I've always known my father as a coach. He coached before I was born. His grandchildren, great-grandchildren called him Coach. It wasn't until a friend of his and a colleague, Tim Shum, said something that made me understand that my father made a conscious choice on how he could best motivate, teach, and coach young men based on his own experience with prep school and college coaches. And Chris alluded to the different philosophies that coaches have. And I think that that conscious choosing was part of his success. He was also fiercely competitive, ethical, smart, disciplined, and forgiving. And all of these traits made him the coach that he was. After my father's death, one of his players wrote, "Thank you, Coach Baldwin, for helping me become the man I am today. Your wisdom, leadership, and dedication in basketball also showed me how to conduct myself in life." George Fisher, Ashburn, Virginia. And I leave with you this, Coach Baldwin's truest philosophy. We've all heard the well-known sports quote, "Winning isn't everything, it's the only thing." My father said they got it wrong. Correctly, he said it was, "The effort to win is everything." Thank you.
Our next Hall of Fame inductee tonight is Dick Hoover. Dick Hoover was one of the winningest and most successful football coaches in the history of New York State football. His 26-year Vestal record, 165, 38, and 7, an amazing .813 winning percentage, 182 victories as a head coach. Coach Hoover had 8 undefeated seasons and 6 more with just a single loss. He was named for his efforts in 1973, the National High School Coach of the Year. In 1975, his Vestal team was ranked 6th in the nation. In both 1973 and 1975, his Vestal squads were ranked number 1 in New York State. When New York State implemented high school football rankings, Vestal was in the top 10 every single year. After his winning coaching years, he was an assistant at Walden, where he helped his son roll a record of 142 and 16 over his span from 1986 to 2000. And yes, he also coached the TC Jets for a season, and as you can imagine, a winning record. He was 10-2. Winning was part of him. He's another of the truly great coaches who find a way to win, to get the job done, no matter what kind of talent they had, often good, but he molded that talent into a winner virtually every year, no matter what. Here to accept tonight's honor is Duke Hoover's son, Jim Hoover.
First, I'd like to thank Tony and the selection committee. I can't imagine the time and effort that you guys put into it. I was either getting an email from Tony or a call, or every time I thought I had everything in, he'd call me and say, no, you don't, Jim. But he finally got me to get everything in. That picture that we couldn't find, that I blamed on you, my wife forgot to mail it out. So, sorry, Kathy. I'd like to congratulate the honorees and their families. As we all know, anybody that has success has a very, very strong family that supports them. My dad would have felt honored and proud to be among the first inductees of the Sports Hall of Fame. And on behalf of my mom and my dad, myself, my brother Kirk, and Glenn, who couldn't be here tonight, and the entire Hoover family, I am honored to accept this award. Thank you.
Our next Hall of Fame inductee is Johnny Logan. Nicknamed Yacha, Johnny Logan was born in Endicott, March of 1927. He was a star high school athlete, earning letters in football, track, basketball, and baseball. In football, he was good enough to get scholarship offers from places like Syracuse, Notre Dame, Duke, and Colgate. In high school football and baseball as well, his coach was Ty Cobb, as in the stadium, Ty Cobb Stadium. Logan is best known as a key member of one of baseball's great teams, the Milwaukee Braves. There he played baseball with Hall of Famers like Eddie Matthews, Warren Spahn, and Henry Aaron. He was a Braves shortstop when they won the 1957 World Series and played on Milwaukee's 1957 National League Championship team. In that World Series winning season, he led the league with doubles 37 and hit .297. Overall, Johnny was a lifetime .268 hitter over 13 big league seasons. He was the first major league batter to face Sandy Koufax, and in true Johnny Logan fashion, he singled off the future Hall of Famer. Family members were unable to be with us tonight, but they did send along Johnny's son, Jim, a video accepting on behalf of his father.
Hello, my name is Jim Logan, and I would like to thank the Greater Binghamton Sports Hall of Fame and the nominating committee for this award bestowed on our father, Johnny Logan. And I would like to congratulate all the other award winners. Many of you are aware Johnny passed away on August 9th, 2013. He was surrounded by his sons John Jr., Jeff, and myself, Jim. The Logan family thanks you for this award honoring our father. Johnny was born and raised in Endicott, New York, and he moved away at 18 years old to pursue his baseball career. But Endicott was always his home. Johnny signed his minor league baseball contract in 1945, and that was the beginning of his career. Johnny played for 3 Major League Baseball teams: the Boston Braves in 1951 and 52, the Milwaukee Braves from 1953 through 61, and the Pittsburgh Pirates from 1961 through 63. Johnny's career accomplishments included the 1957 World Series championship, a 4-time All-Star, and winning the Japanese World Series in 1964 with the Nankai Hawks in Osaka, Japan. On June 6, 2013, 2 months before he passed away, the Milwaukee Brewers inducted our father into the Milwaukee Brewers Walk of Fame. Our dad's inductee Walk of Fame stone inscribes the years he's played and his accomplishments. He is surrounded by other inductees that include Robin Yount, Paul Molitor, and Sal Bando, who all are elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. At Johnny's Walk of Fame induction, a reporter asked him what his 3 greatest achievements were in his career. Johnny responded, 1. Winning the 1957 World Series. 2. The memorial that was dedicated to Johnny at Logan Field in Endicott, New York in July 2012. And 3. The Milwaukee Brewers Walk of Fame in June 2013. The Logan family thanks you for this wonderful honor. Our only regret is our father is not alive to receive this wonderful honor from the Binghamton Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Ron Luciano, another of the outstanding athletes from Endicott. Ron was an All-American tackle at Syracuse University, named to the 1958 College All-American team. He was a member of SU's 1959 National Championship team as well. Ron was a third-round draft pick of the Detroit Lions, but suffered a serious shoulder injury in the college All-Star game and never played for Detroit. He played in a couple of games with the Buffalo Bills, but a knee injury ended his career way too early after just a couple of games. That's when his thoughts turned to umpiring. He began that career in 1964. He made the major leagues in 1969, where he worked in the American League until his retirement at the start of the 1980 season. Alush was colorful, flamboyant, and he sure did love to talk. He'd routinely chat with players between innings or sometimes during a pitching change, whenever he could. He'd carry on the conversation, sometimes even as the play was developing. The players loved it, sometimes major league officials weren't quite as fond of that. He was well respected by the players, so much so that in a 1974 Major League Baseball Players Association poll, he was one of only two umpires who got excellent ratings. Still remembered for that long-running feud with Earl Weaver. The feud was so intense that Weaver's players often would take bets among themselves as to when their manager would get tossed out, sometimes even before the game. After umpiring, he worked a couple of seasons on NBC's Game of the Week, and of course also authored several books, one of which, The Umpire Strikes Back, and The Fall of the Roman Umpire. Ron loved to fish. He did many videos with Bob Huckabone out fishing and having a good time. And he sure could tell some wonderful tales when you got a chance to talk to him. Ladies and gentlemen, here to accept is Ron's nephew, Brian Jester, induction Ron Luciano.
Thank you. On behalf of my family, on behalf of the entire town of Endicott and all the alumni of Union Endicott, we would like to thank the committee. Congratulations to all the inductees. If by chance you knew my uncle, he was very flamboyant, just as Roger mentioned, but he was always very cognizant of where he was to make sure that whoever he was talking to was more important than he. So with that being said, there's nothing that I can say really that would trump what my uncle would say right now. So I would rather leave it to all the inductees because I know he would feel exactly the same way. It's a very special honor for my family, for my mom, my dad that's here, my cousin, my brothers, my sister, that the committee has felt the induction for my uncle into this committee, into this Hall of Fame. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity, Tony, Roger, Michelle, the rest of the committee. Isaiah, Mr. Fox, Bess, congratulations. Coach Angela King, Chris, thanks for being here. Mr. Stanton, Master Ochoa, Coach Halloran, Mr. Gaffney, Mr. Campbell. Thank you very much. Wonderfully.
Our next inductee is Jim Matthews. Jim was born and raised in Parry Sound, Ontario, received a hockey scholarship to play and attend Clarkson. Along with numerous successful business ventures, Jim Matthews is a man who brought professional hockey here to Binghamton. In 1973, he became owner and president of the Broomdusters in the newly formed North American Hockey League. As the owner, he brought in standouts and fan favorites like Rod Bloomfield, Neil and Wayne Claremont, Pierre Lagunier, and many, many more. Under his ownership, hockey quickly flourished, becoming the hottest thing in town. You could get a seat. His players drove Duskers from his dealership, and the Veterans Memorial Arena sold out over and over again. Rival players would campaign to try to get traded to Binghamton to play for the Broomdusters. They wanted a car, and they wanted to be treated like he treated his players, because players everywhere that played for him bragged about how well they were treated. And of course, in the lower minor leagues, sometimes the treatment is not quite as good as it was here in Broome County. He not only promoted his pro team, but was active as a youth coach who helped the experiences and a chance to get exposed to the sport for many thousands of young people over the years. Jim also made numerous contributions to our community and was one of the initial inductees into the Binghamton Hockey Hall of Fame. Here to accept the award, the honor, on behalf of the Matthews family, is Jim's son, Jim Matthews.
Thank you. It's quite an honor to be up here on behalf of my father. I would like to take the opportunity, Chris, I'm a huge lifelong Giants fan, suffered through many long years, and sitting with some Cowboys friends, they may want to see some of the bling you have on here, just to see what it looks like. Glad I did bring my wife. She may be expecting things different in retirement than how you look these days when I retire, but congratulations on all your success. My father with the Dusters, it was a great time of life for us. It helped to marry two things he loved, the community and hockey. It was really quite rewarding. As a youth growing up then, it was interesting having role models like Rod Bloomfield, the Claremonts, or Goldie Goldthorpe. It made for interesting times around the house. But the hockey was quite rewarding. It really did touch thousands of people's lives in this community, and we all, in our family, still play hockey. I know the inductees have a difficult time selecting for the committee. It's quite a group here tonight. I do still play Monday night hockey in case you're looking for next year. But on behalf of my family, it's really quite an honor, and I'm pleased to accept this honor on their behalf. Thank you.
All right, our induction ceremonies continue here. Our next inductee is a longtime coach of the UB Tigers, Sir John Gibbon. There you go. Congratulations. He was a captain of the Tigers playing back in 1951, a tight end and defensive end. Captain of the 1951 Binghamton Press Southern Tier All-Conference team. He went on to play tight end and defensive end with Colgate's, at the time, Red Raiders, the Raiders. He took over the reins at Johnson City, 1957 to 1959 as their head coach. Then he went to Tiger Pride, head coach of the UB Tigers from 1960 to 1992. During that span, Coach Angeline won 216 games in his coaching career overall. When he retired in 1992, 216 was the most wins in Southern Tier history. He won 13 league titles, 12 at UB, 1 at Johnson City. Won 2 New York State championships, 1979 and 1989. They still argue which team is better. I'll let you ask the coach that. Also selected to the New York State Section 4 Athletic Hall of Fame, 1982. Selected as Coach of the Year in New York State by the New York State Sports Writers Association in 1979 and 1989. Selected to the Union Endicott Athletic Hall of Fame. Honored by the UE Central School District with having made a difference Alumni Award for his distinguished service as an educator, renowned coach, and local youth community supporter. And if you go down to UE's Ty Cobb Stadium now, you will see the plaque and the honoring of him right at the stadium as they commemorate the field house and a dressing area for UE Tiger teams. Coach's favorite saying, one of them, if you give everything you've got every minute, then some good things have to come your way. You may never get the opportunity again because you only pass through once. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the Greater Binghamton Sports Hall of Fame, Fran Angelon.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you, Roger. A great honor, as everyone has said tonight, to be here. I'm indebted to the committee and the fine folks of this community to be inducted in the first Hall of Fame is a great honor, but even more so to be inducted along with these outstanding sports figures along with the rest of the inductees tonight. Thank you. This has been my first trip back here, and I apologize for hiding under the table here, more or less, hiding my legs. Bound with a wheelchair for a while. It's my first trip back since summer. Had surgery in the Philly area and wheelchair bound for a while. I'm happy to say I have both sons here tonight. I wanted to make sure someone was going to be here tonight. Both my sons, Larry and Chris, who played some pretty good football for us in the late 70s. And it's a pleasure, and I know what Christy went through with Tom Kaufman and vice versa. Because he certainly experienced the fraternity and the familial relationship. It's unique, and I'm very happy to have had the opportunity to coach my sons. They were a couple of fine young men, and we don't turn that kind of way at all. You fine folks here have made this area so rich in athletics, and you're all responsible with your support and the people up here. This proud grandpa has spent a good deal of time in the last few years in the suburbs of Philadelphia, mainly in the Downingtown, Exton area, for those of you who might be familiar with that. It's a hotbed for college recruiting, and watching all these games, subconsciously, I've made some comparisons. Here, our best here, wherever they may be, can compete with anybody, any place. The only difference is they have more of them there and in other places, I think. I've always felt very strongly about that. It's always nice to see my old pals, and I see a lot of them here tonight, a lot of my former players, and it's always nice to reunite with Roger Neal, who graciously invited me to his booth as we broadcast games, several games together for the past 6 years, minus this one. But I had a lot of fun. Always great to see the pro. Roger, thanks again for this honor and opportunity. I'm sorry I'm in the wheelchair. I spent almost my whole life in sports, and I just wanted you to know that I wouldn't trade 1 minute of it, coaching, playing, whatever. You guys keep up the good work. Good luck. This area is doing a great job. Thanks.
Thanks, Coach. Pleasure was mine, believe me. What a great time. Coach was like the Pied Piper. He'd go into stadiums, and I had to hopefully get on the air while he was going to say hi to about 50 people on the way up to the press box. They all knew him and they all wanted to say hello. Our next inductee from Vestal, from Penn State University, the Pittsburgh Steelers. We welcome back tonight Bob Campbell. Bob was pretty much anything and everything he wanted to be in athletics. He was an outstanding football player, track athlete, basketball standout, setting numerous records that would take years to be surpassed. Track accomplishments were many, including setting a world record in 1962 for a 15-year-old at the high jump with a jump of 6 feet 4 1/4 inches. He set a New York State record in the high jump, 6 feet 5 1/2 inches. A Section 4 record with a 220-yard dash with a time of 22 seconds, and the list goes on and on. After graduation and being named the President Sun Bulletin Athlete of the Year in 1963, 1964, and 1965, which is remarkable, he attended Penn State University and played for the Nittany Lions from 1966 to 1969. Now, many may recall the game against Kansas in the Orange Bowl in 1969. Bob caught a long touchdown or pass that was short by about a yard from Chuck Burkhardt. And then Burkhardt scored on the next play. They were down by 1. A chance at a 2-point conversion, didn't make it. It was a penalty. A second chance, Bob carried in for the 2-point conversion. In stunning fashion, Penn State beat Kansas 15-14. I must say, in my household, my dad was a Penn State fan. That was one broken couch as a result of that play, because we jumped about 5 feet in the air with that one. Tremendous grab to set things up, then carrying in for the winning conversion. The MVP for that effort in the 1969 Orange Bowl. A coach, many years high school, even coached a year with the TC Gents. Please welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as our newest inductee here this evening, Bob Campbell.
Speakers, pressure. Chris, you and I have something in common. You'll never guess. Many years ago, I got elected to play in a college All-American football game. And the coaches for the football team, Allie Sherman, Alex Webster, they were coaches for the New York Giants. I think Sherman's family owned the Giants or something at that point. But that's probably before you were born. I know that. I was very fortunate when I was at Vestal High. I had 4 very outstanding coaches. Coach Hoover, obviously, was fabulous. And when I got into coaching, I used to go back there. As a matter of fact, I even took a team from Syracuse back here to Vestal for a scrimmage, and of course we were running the same stuff. And Dick kind of looked at me and said, that didn't help me at all, to be honest with you. But Coach Hoover, Coach La was my basketball coach, Coach Pendlebury I had for track, and Lou Jeanette, the coach for baseball. All were fabulous people that helped me along the way. And I got to tell you that when I went on to Penn State, I had a problem with Coach Paterno. I was not a very good practice player. I just did not like practice. And in the highlight film, you were watching the end of the Orange Bowl, but I got to tell you that the game before that was against Syracuse. It was my last home game. And I did have a very good game that day, set the record for the longest run from scrimmage, and that was 50 years ago. But anyhow, when I scored a touchdown in that game, I threw the ball up into the stands. No, you don't do that. Joe met me at the hash mark on the field and kicked me off the team. That was the Syracuse game before the Orange Bowl. I was gone. The kids on the sidelines, my teammates, got together and went to Joe, and he said, okay, so he's 5 yards short of the single game rushing record. We'll put him back in with the green screen team. Now, any of you guys that coach know that the second team is really not that good. So he put me in there for one play, and I quit myself. I walked off because they weren't blocking anybody. But it's been a great career. It's been a lot of fun being here. It's been great talking to a lot of you guys, especially the man over there that writes all the articles. I can't wait to see what he has to say about this one. I thank you very much for the honor. I can't think of any place I'd rather be, even if it is 50 years later. It's been wonderful talking to a lot of you guys. Thank you very much.
Our next inductee is sports columnist emeritus, John W. Fox. Upon graduating from Syracuse University, John began his career as a sports reporter and the sports editor for the Binghamton Press in the summer of 1949. He retired from the Press and Sun-Bulletin in December of 1993, but continued to provide columns on a regular basis until June 2010. That is a remarkable run. John covered all sports. He loved writing, and his attention to detail, use of statistics, interviews, and short narratives of interesting and amusing incidents were all part of his style. And I must add photographic memory too. When the Binghamton Mets first came to town, John was always in the press box covering games, and many times during those early couple of years, there weren't a whole lot of records on what happened with the triplets or teams before. They were scattered around, but nobody really had easy or clear access to them. So what we would do in the press box is simply say, John, did that ever happen with baseball? John would say, yes, it did. The day was 1951, May 13th. He'd give the name of the pitcher that did it and the count at the time, and it was amazing. And at that point, he was so well respected, nobody ever went any further because that was what it was. You know what? He was right every time. John's written word has touched readers to an outstanding career that spanned 8 decades under 11 United States presidents, 11 publishers, and 3 newspaper names. Major events covered include Don Larson's perfect game for the Yankees in the 1956 World Series, Carmen Basilio's 15-round win over middleweight boxing champ Sugar Ray Robinson at Yankee Stadium the year 1957, Jack Nicklaus, his first U.S. Open win at Oakmont in 1962. John has been inducted into the New York State Public High School Athletic Association Section 4 Hall of Fame. That occurred back in 1986. The Binghamton Baseball Shrine in 2011. And to quote columnist Dave Rossi, he said, a John Fox story never lacked for perspective because the man was more than a sports writer, he was a sports historian. And like all good writers, he was a storyteller, and I must say a great one too. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome John W. Fox.
Well, maybe he got the stats from me, I don't know. That is true. Where did you get how many presidents it had been? Well, it's been a long time, and I wasn't really, actually, when I finally retired, it was at the end of, it was during the Dix Open, and it was exactly the 61st anniversary of my first day on the job. And what better day to say farewell, and I wrote that down that day. I'm gonna look for a new job. Thank you very much.
Our Our next inductee spent a lifetime helping the youth of our community. Carlton J. Gaffney. Carl was the Southern Tier Athletic Conference Executive Director from its formation back in 1966 till he retired in 2013. Served as Binghamton Parks and Recreation, softball, basketball, Little League supervisor for 45 years, with up to as many as 503 teams back in 1988. He also, from 1960 through 1999, served as the officer of local and district commissioner of the New York State Amateur Softball Association. He directed 10 ASA softball tournaments at Conlon Field, bringing some of the best softball athletes to our area. As a student, Carl played baseball, basketball at Johnson City. In addition to baseball and basketball, he played soccer at Ithaca College while earning his BS and MS degrees there. He saw combat as a Marine in the Pacific in World War II, played briefly for a baseball team managed by legendary Baseball Hall of Famer Bill Beck. He also attended umpiring school in Florida. He umpired in the minors from 1949 to 52, and from 1952 through 62 was a member of the Binghamton Umpires Association. He also taught during that span at East Junior Middle School. From 1962 through 86, he taught at Susquehanna Valley High School and became the first athletic director there. Also serving many years as high school basketball referee. Won't you please welcome here tonight, for the great honor of being inducted into the Greater Binghamton Shrine, Carlton J. Gaffney.
Good evening. Thank you for coming. Recognize honored guests, members of the clergy that are here, ladies and gentlemen, all my former East Junior students who came up to see me, and if you're an East student, raise your arm. I'd just like to say that I was a Westover boy. I was born in the E.J. Medical. My father, an E.J. worker. On April 16, 1925. We lived in Westover, but we never got flooded out in the big flood of 1935 or 1937. We were on a little high ground. And I was privileged to go to the Westover grade school. There was a nice gentleman principal named Leland Ostrander, and he had a softball team and he had a soccer team for both boys and girls. And we played a little schedule, and I learned what it was like to be on a team. And through my lifetime, I've been on many teams, and they were not all sports teams. At Westover, we also had a small gym. There were 2 baskets, and we played a lot of basketball in there. And I got to be a pretty good shooter, especially off the stage and off the side walls. Some nights we were in there shooting baskets till near midnight because you couldn't see any lights out on the street. We were in there, and you know how we got in, I'm sure. We had a lot of fun, and I was close enough that I could start playing golf. With that EJ Workers card, I'd go down to Enjoy Golf Course on the card, and I could play all day long for 25 cents. And the trolleys were running through Westover, but about the time I started playing golf, in came the bus system, and the trolleys went out. So, as I went to the Johnson City School District, I finally got some professional coaching. I wasn't able to make the JV baseball team, so I did make the soccer team, or the golf team.
And as I went along, before I knew it, I'm ready to graduate from Johnson City High School, and the draft was waiting. They didn't wait very long. They grabbed me in July of 1943. And somehow I went over to the West End Armory for the physical, and when I got over there, I got in the wrong line. And you know where I ended up. Before I knew it, I was down at the boot camp at Paris Island, and before you knew much longer, I was at Camp Lejeune, and before you knew it, I was training to do a couple of different things. And I was on my way to the South Pacific, where I spent a couple of years, and went up and down the slot in the South Pacific. And got a chance even to play some baseball, because we got a little time off when we were in sort of a rest camp in Guadalcanal, and I happened to play on the Italian baseball team. And the coach was a fellow named Bill Beck. He wrote a book called Beck is in Wreck, and he was something, I'll tell you. At that time, his parents owned the Milwaukee team in the AAA League. But some of you remember there were people that he put up like a midget. He sent up the plate once in St. Louis, and he dropped a few fireworks in a few other places. So we did play some baseball, and then we went on our way, and before we know it, we were back at Guam, and we were refitting, and we were getting ready, and we were penciled in that the 6th Marine Division, which I was in, was scheduled to go with about 20 other American divisions to push forward and make the major landing on Tokyo proper. I was working down in the hold of a ship, unloading the ship one day in August of 1945, and the president was Harry Truman, and he decided to drop a bomb. And when he dropped the bomb, it only took a few days or a week or so, and Japan threw in the towel, and the war was over. I thought I might be coming home, but I'd only been in the South Pacific and in the Marine Corps for about 25 months, so I didn't have enough points to come home. And so I had to continue my career, and before I knew it, in September of 1947, 45, I was on a boat. There were a number of boats in the convoy. Our whole Marine division had been refitted. We had new guns, we had new uniforms, we had new everything, and we had thousands of new troops to replace the people that were going home. But I wasn't going home, I was going to China. And I want to tell you a little bit about China. China was a city of about 2 million. When we got there, we went there to accept the Japanese surrender because they were in control in North China. And we had to get all spruced up. We got all our guns cleaned up, all the trucks, all our tanks. And we started in the parade on the main boulevard in the city of Tsingtao. It's not called Tsingtao today, we changed the name. I can't remember the name. We marched down that street, and I'll tell you, the Chinese people were 10 deep along the sidewalks on both sides. They were cheering us in. I never heard cheering like that before. I was so proud I was standing as tall as I could. I sure it was 3 inches taller than when I started the march. And we marched all the way about 2 miles down to the racetrack where the Japanese people came out. They signed the papers. We signed the papers. And the next job, we were there to do that job. We had to collect the Japanese troops and make arrangements for them to go back to Japan. And we took over guard in North China. I was there about 3 or 4 months. Started in many different places. Finally, it was time to come home. When I got home, there was a thing called the GI Bill. The GI Bill. Oh, some of you may not know this. Okay? The GI Bill was a magic thing. It was wonderful. I got 5 years of college. I got 2 degrees. got $7 a month, and I could go to college and play ball and learn how to be a referee. And when I got done, I was on my way to a field of education. There's a lot of teamwork at the college because I started refereeing there. And of course, referees have to work together and they're in a lot of trouble. So I did go on to my 10 years as a teacher at East Junior, where I picked up the man who taught me so much. My mentor at East Junior was a man named Edson Riley. He had Ray Stanton in the Leaders Club. Ray Stanton is sitting here today. The Leaders Club had a lot of nice guys. And I sure appreciate all those guys that come up to me here today and mention their time in the Leaders Club at East Junior. I was there for 10 years, then I went on to Esley. Esley was a great place to go. They needed an athletic director, so I ended up with that. My career was not over in Eastwood, but I was on a lot of teams along the way. And they were not all the time, but they were fine groups of people. So, I'd like to thank you all for coming today. I'd like to say in closing, you made my day. You made my career, and you made my life. I'll never forget it. Thank you.
Our selection committee member, Michelle Tinnick, presenting the award. Michelle, thank you. Thank you, Carl. Our next inductee not only starred in Vestal, but she sure was a star at Binghamton University. Bess Greenberg. Bess played at Binghamton University from 1997 to 2001. Were many records, if they were there to be set, that she did not set. And from there, she went on to play professionally. She was selected Denmark's league MVP in 2004, the Israel Cup MVP in 2007, her final year as a pro player. Greenberg and her talented teammates, highlighted by a couple of greats in their own right, Leah Trincali and Sarah Cartmel, were pretty much unstoppable over their years playing for Binghamton University. A two-time Division II All-American, she's the school's all-time scoring leader, 2,024 career points. That's an average of 18.2 a game. With Bess in the starting lineup, Binghamton teams averaged more than 24 wins a season and enjoyed a lofty winning percentage of 86%, going 97-16. That's pretty incredible. In her freshman year, she led the Division III Colonials to a 22-3 record, a spot in the NCAA second round. She was the ECAC Rookie of the Year for a team with BU that was ranked number 5 in the country. As a sophomore, she averaged 19.2 points a game, led her now Division II team to a 26-4 record, a New England Collegiate Conference title, and an NCAA tournament berth in the program's very first year at a divisional level. She was named the NACC and ECAC Player of the Year and earned honorable mention All-America honors. Out of the junior season, she was a first-team All-American and guided the Bearcats to a 27-2 record, unbeaten in conference play, 16-0, and an ECAC Division II title. That year averaging 21.3 points a game, shooting 53% from the floor and 49% from three-point range. As a senior, she captained BU to a 22-7 mark, second straight runaway ECAC championship, named the tournament MVP. She had no bad season, no bad games. Off the court, she was a three-time academic All-American and a recipient of the 2001 NCAA Woman of the Year from the state of New York. Also earned the honors of the University Athlete of the Year in 1998, 99, and again in 1999-2000. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bess Greenberg.
So, being the only girl up here tonight, I'm going to do my best not to be the emotional one. And King has already discussed that he was feeling a little sensitive tonight, so. It's true, I'm not making that up. Thank you everyone for coming tonight. And thank you Tony and the committee for putting this all together and for all of your hard work. And of course, congratulations to all of the other honorees. I'm extremely humbled to be seated beside you all this evening. When Tony called me out of the blue a few months ago to ask if I would accept the nomination, I have to be entirely honest and say that this whole entire thing caught me completely off guard. There was a time when basketball was not just a lifestyle for me, it was everything. But I'll be turning 36 years old next month, and being on the court has not been in my daily routine for almost 10 years. So when the phone rang that day, I felt like I was being catapulted backwards in time, flooded with memories, faces of coaches and teammates, the injuries, the victories, the losses, and let's not forget the practices, and more practices. But it didn't take long for me to realize that I wasn't actually being catapulted backwards. I was being given a very rare opportunity to reflect on everything that I've gone through and recognize and acknowledge how grateful I truly am for those years that I've played basketball. Sorry. I'm now at a time in my life when I rarely lace up for the courts. I feel I have more understanding of what my years as an athlete actually meant. There are things I understand now that I was not capable of understanding back then. And though I am seldom on the court now with the ball in my hands, I carry with me so many unexpected gifts that this wonderful game gave to me. And it's a game that I will always love. Present every day is a mixture of every coach I played for or against, every teammate who trusted me on the court, every opponent who challenged me, and every friend or fan who showed their belief in me. I've learned that hard work pays off. I've learned to focus. I've learned about commitment. I've learned to take chances. I've learned to trust, and I learned how wonderful it feels to actually have people that believe in you. And these are the gifts that have helped form who I am today and have carried me beyond the basketball court. They will be a part of me forever. All of this would have been impossible without my father. He didn't just hand me a basketball when I was growing up. He gave me a world. His love of the game and of people in general was absolutely contagious. He made everything fun, and he still does. The love and support of my entire family was unfailing. My mother's calendar was always overflowing with basketball schedules. She was there to drop me off and pick me up. She was always there to cheer me on. And my three older brothers, if they weren't playing against me in the backyard and throwing me elbows when they could, they were always cheering me on too. And they helped me develop into the person that I am today. So I'm grateful to all of them, and I'm grateful to this entire community for helping me become the person I am today. Thank you.
Thank you, Vince. Our next induction honoree tonight, Jack Halloran. Jack retired in 1994 after teaching physical education and coaching multiple sports and activities for 43 years in the New York State public school system. During his storied coaching career, he coached varsity football for a total of 16 years, varsity basketball for 41 years, and varsity track for 38. He served 32 years as director of athletics as well. When he retired from coaching basketball in 1993, he was the all-time winningest NYSBHSAA Coach 630 victory. His teams won 15 Susquehanna League Championships, 6 Section 4 Class A and C titles, 7 Section 4 runner-up, and many, many more. 1993, Whitney Point was the New York State Federation finalist. In 1970-71, Whitney Point was ranked number 1 small school champions by New York State Sports Writers Association. The 1976-77 squad ranked number 4 by the same organization. The 1988 squad ranked number 3. The 1991-92 squad ranked number 4, and the 92-93 squad at number 1. The final 6 years at Whitney Point, in case you thought he might slacken up a little bit, record of 129-20. That's a .865 winning percentage, included 4 consecutive Susquehanna League titles, 3 Section 4 Class C championships, and 3 regional championships, along with 3 state semifinals at Glens Falls. Jack also, of course, coached varsity track and field for 38 seasons and was extremely successful doing that as well. 1984-87, National High School Athletic Coaches Association member, and many, many other honors. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our newest inductee, Jack Halloran. Jack.
I had more things written down here than you can imagine. I'm going to can them. I got something better to do. I just wanted to, first, Evelyn and I were both teachers and both were professionals at lesson plans, but we hit the jackpot when we had 8 children. 4 boys, 4 girls, and they're all sitting over there in the corner. And I'd like to have them stand up and raise their hands. Those kids, the big kids over there, did not come from our side of the family. There are a couple I wanted tonight. I know my last football captains are here, or were supposed to be here. Rick Armstrong, who was a national wrestling champion on his way, and Hayes, Chuck Hayes, and one of my basketball captains, I know he knows everybody, Ellerson, Tommy Ellerson. Tommy and Rick and Chuck and I just want to go back. This is sort of comical. In high school, I went to Shenango Forks, and Cornell was in 3 semesters, so I was able to play a few games on the PG postgraduate for a few games. I think the last game was at night, and I would enter Cornell the next day, and I even got into making some of the practices at Cornell. And so I'd be in trouble today with the NC2A because after service and got through, I finally finished in Portland in 1930. But for some of you that know Jack received at Cortland. I don't know if you remember him or not. And we tell the stories, and he said, I attended Hobart for a year under the name of John Jack. And that's the way things were kept that time. It doesn't really matter. But can someone answer me? He is here, who the all-star quarterback from Cortland was, that went to Cornell, had a great year, and signed with the Giants. Okay. He was a very good quarterback too. But I would just, there's one story at 6 in my, that I should say. During the middle 60s when the Vietnam War was going on, and I know our town is, we got Lisle, Center Lisle, Upper Lisle, Lower Lisle, Triangle, we got, and you know, and we've also got Glen Aubrey. Now you even know Glen Aubrey either because of the octagon, or you know it because that's where Billy Stearns lived. Anyway, in the middle 60s, I don't know if they all entered at the same time, but at one time, 5 or 6 of those kids, and they were kids, were at Vietnam at the same time. And you've never received a letter that didn't touch you more than the one by Jimmy Jean. He would write a letter, and he went through hell, and that's what he did. But he'd write a letter, and it was all about how he had fun playing football. And he remembered it, and to this day, he will still talk about the days he played high school football. And you can't help but think what those kids went through, and what more can I say? There's just, I think maybe that's some of the other stuff that I can, it's all right. But I appreciate the committee, we were a small school, but we enjoyed picking on the big guys. We didn't back off. And we had, it was a great place. It was something I always wanted to do. I stayed there for a good many years. Never wanted to leave. Fran offered me a job one year, but it was a decision between football and basketball. I eventually was, but for basketball. Thanks for everything.
Our next honoree, Isaiah Kasavensky. Isaiah, graduate of Union Endicott, named the 1995 Preston-Sutherland Athlete of the Year, and a UE Hall of Fame honoree. Football, first team All-State 1995. Records still held at UE include tackles in a career, tackles in a season, tackles in a game. He also was quite a wrestler. He ended up as a runner-up in the state as a heavyweight in 1995. Captain of the New York State Championship wrestling team as well in 1995. He went on to play at Harvard, 4-time letter winner, first person to start all 40 games in Harvard University history. I remember seeing him playing at Cornell, and he was everywhere. If he didn't make the tackle, he was within a foot of the ball carrier, up and down the field, left side, right side, didn't matter. It was incredible. First team All-American, 1999. Graduated along with outstanding work on the athletic field, cum laude with a pre-med degree in 2000, and of course was the highest draft pick in Harvard history, picked by the Seattle Seahawks, 119th overall in the 2000 draft. You may well have watched him in the Super Bowl as a tri-captain, out on the field for the coin toss of nationwide TV and the biggest showcase for football there is. Elected special team captain by teammates 3 years in a row with Seattle, an historic National Football League career, and today he's back to be honored by his hometown area, the greater Binghamton area. Please welcome Isaiah Kasavensky.
You wouldn't believe how many times I've had my name butchered in my life. So it's always nice to come back home and have it not butchered. Quick story about that. The first game, I won the starting job my 3rd year in the NFL, starting middle linebacker, dream accomplished. And coming out, that we opened up in Oakland and get to the stadium like 4 hours early, ready to go out, warming up, and I see, 2 hours before they say, the defense is going to get announced. I'm like, this is awesome, this is my chance. Coming out of the tunnel is the one you dream of when you're a little kid. And that happens, right? Where we're lining up, everybody's coming out, middle linebackers up, I'm ready to come out, all excited. It's a very, very tough environment in Oakland, the Black Hole. It's a very, very brutal place. This is when they're still good. And they're no good now. Come out and they say, starting middle linebacker, Isaiah Kalawacki. I was like, that's not even trying. The announcer didn't even do anything. I would be lying to say that announcer did not get in my head. It was probably an Al Davis scheme to do that on purpose. Rookie starting for, or a third-year player starting for his first game. I want to say thank you to Tony and the committee. I'm extremely honored to be up here with this group. And I got in today. I live in Boston. I got in today, drove by Ty Cobb Stadium, and a whole flood of memories came back for me. And come here and see the coaches that have been around me, and to see Coach Angeline, who set that bar so high when I was a little kid. I remember teams shaking coming down that hill into Ty Cobb Stadium, and you built that, and I wanted to be like that. I wanted to be the person to tackle a King Rice on the other side. It was an amazing feeling. It made me feel like my whole world was in front of me. It sparked something deep inside of me that I could believe. I could believe about things bigger than me, and I could use sports and also school as that vehicle to be able to do that. So thank you for sparking that, and thank you for creating that environment. That being said, I want to single out a lot of different people. I was a Polish kid growing up in an all-Italian town. I was interesting. I still consider myself Italian in a lot of different ways. More Italian than Polish in a lot of different ways. My love for Italian food goes deep. I want to point out a couple of coaches that made a huge difference in my life that are here. Coach Jester was my first coach when I was in 7th grade. I really didn't know what I was doing. I had a mullet, I had a red hair with a mullet, and he saw that and he called me Axel Rose. And he made a play after me. He believed in me too. I was very raw. Looking back, he could have easily given up on me. But he saw something inside of me. I want to thank you. But I remember that year, my play was the Axel Special, and that was, I might have been like 5 out of 6 for touchdowns. It was reverse. I lined up as a wing, went around reverse. I showed up that year in soccer cleats, and you did not judge. You just put me to work, and thank you for believing me. I appreciate that. Coach Angeline, I've already talked about you. I've been talking about you for days. Coach Gusha is here. Thank you for taking me in like a son and really showing me what it was to be gracious in defeat and gracious with a win as well. So thank you so much. I learned a lot just by watching you. Coach Tiddick, always very gracious, this very solid under fire every single time. Coach Council, the epitome of fire, and being able to unleash and hold that at the right time to unleash on the opponent. Mr. Bennett really taught me a lot about self-discipline early on in my life, and I want to thank you for that and putting the entire piece together, not only being an athlete, being a student as well. And also I'd be remiss to not thank Frank Sorchinski, Sarge, who was a very, very monumental person in my life at early young age. And that idea of there was no gray area. Either you work hard or you don't work hard. And he instilled that day after day. And quite honestly, the entire group, everyone together, being able to really reinforce that. And like I said, I love talking about this area, the ability of this area continuing to defy the odds, to place world-class athletes on that world stage over and over and over again. It really goes back to the mindset of the people here, the people in this room, the coaches and the schools around that, and athletic directors, everybody. Two things that I look back is I'll end on this, although I'd like to rival Carl with that amazing talk on how long it went, but I don't know if I can go that long. I learned a lot of history today as well as the GI Bill. I think I appreciate it. I think, I want to leave with this, the kids in the room, really focus on the two things that got me to where I am. I want to impart that on you, this idea of positivity, always staying positive, and this idea of hard work. It's not magic. Things don't happen by magic. Either you want it or you don't. You gotta go grab it if you want it. That's it. I stay very, very close ties. My family's here today. It's amazing having them there, my pops and my brother Henry and my nephews and my sister-in-law. It's great to have you guys here. We're going on our 10th annual Maggie Memorial this year. And I remember my mom. And we have John Jones and Chandler Jones coming back for it. They're locked in. And I want you guys all to show up. Anyone that wants to show up, come. It's going to be a great event. And it's been something that's near and dear to my heart. So thank you again. Sorry for taking so much time, but appreciate it.
What date's the tournament? June 26th. There you go. June 26th. Our next inductee, Pastor Heidi Ochia. When you say incredible people, you're talking certainly about Pastor Ochia. It's incredible some of the things that he's done. He's instructed over the years, can you believe this, over 500,000 students at his training facilities, university programs, his EKP secondary school program. He's awarded over 1,000 black belts, of which approximately 100 are licensed instructors. He's a founder of Washabru Karate. Did that in 1966 and has perfected it. He has done incredible things with so many people. Created and taught Zen in the martial arts of Japan at the anthropology department at Binghamton University. He's written books including The Essence of Self-Defense, Living Karate, a complete book of self-defense, self-defense for kids, and many more. Along with his teaching ability, he was a tremendous competitor and demonstrator as well, including seen on ABC's Wide World of Sports, also at the U.S. Karate Championships, the Grand Nationals, International Karate Championships in Long Beach, California, and many, many more, winning numerous titles, numerous tournaments, and carrying his word to people all around the world. He was ranked 5 consecutive times as #1 kata performer in the U.S. by the BKA, Professional Karate Association. This record still stands. A Black Belt Hall of Fame Instructor of the Year, Man of the Year. If you tour his dojo, you may well see him on the cover of Black Belt Magazine and others. USA Karate Federation Technical Committee under the National Olympic Committee, and many, many more honors. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a distinct pleasure to welcome Master Heidi Ochia.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you. Thank you, Tony, and committee. And also, I'd like to congratulate all the inductees today. I'm so happy to be part of it. Ladies and gentlemen, I like to, many people talked about football, basketball, and baseball, they're all great sports. As a matter of fact, somebody asked me earlier, as I came in, no one was there. A gentleman didn't know who I was, of course, and then, for 49 years I've been here. So I thought, people would recognize it. So this guy didn't recognize it. So are you part of the Hall of Fame things? I said, yes, sir. And he says, what do you do? I mean, you're too small for football or basketball. I mean, what kind of sports do you do? He said, no, I do nothing. I'm just a mailman. I don't know if he's doing that. Are you here right now, the man I talked to? I have to apologize. I was just kidding at that time, I was not in the mood of conversing with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to share with you in a very short time, I'd like to share with you 2 important things victory, concept of victory, and great victory. Two are very different things. Victory is fun. Victory is when you beat the opponent. Victory is a game. It's fun. It's great. I like game. I like game too. But great victory is one that player, he or she, walks the path of self-development based on self-respect and respect for others. Concentration, self-confidence, self-control. Because these things, we are all equipped with the potential to be great. All the material that you need to be great is within the self. So that's why I want to share with young people every day. He or she has potential to become great. So all within the self. You need patience and willingness to walk the path of self-development. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I want to say. Thank you. Now, my students are here. Just get up and just show me the face. Thank you. Thank you.
Our next inductee is King Rice. King is back tonight. A standout at Binghamton High School, played the point position under basketball coach Tom Cordial. The team's career assist leader, led the team to the New York State Public High School State Championship Class A title with 84-85, a record of 24-1. It was an all-tournament selection. He led his team also to the New York State Public High School and Federation State Championship Class A title, 85-86, a 25-1 record, and was the tournament MVP that time. Named the New York State Player of the Year 1986-87, selected a McDonald's High School All-American in 1987. Overall, led his team to a 4-year record of 87-9. Oh, by the way, pretty good football player too. A 10-0 record as a starting running back in the 85-86 season. Very good running back. Selected Preston Sun Bulletin Athlete of the Year, not once, not twice, but 3 times in 1984, 85, and 86. If you went to Binghamton games at that time, you may have seen coaches like Dean Smith and Jim Boeheim and many others there to see him play. Of course, a point guard under the legendary Dean Smith, he led North Carolina to a record of 29-6 overall and reached the 1991 NCAA Final Four. Finished his career 3rd in North Carolina. Career assist totals was 629. And also, of course, the team captain, earning North Carolina's Carmichael Cobb Award for Outstanding Defensive Player in the 1991 season. Now, ladies and gentlemen, he's joined the coaching ranks. Head basketball coach at Monmouth University, 2011 until the present. Is working hard to continue as they have turned that program around under King Rice. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the King. He's back.
Well, thank you so much, and I just want to say I'm so excited that I get to do this, especially with the first class. I want to thank Chris. I watched you a bunch, bro. I did not know you were from right here. That is awesome. Isaiah, it's just so cool that I get to be up here and that he would take his time to come and be the guest speaker, and that I'm getting to meet some of the people for the first time, really. I've heard of them. I pay attention very closely. And it's cool because some of the people up here I've known for a long time, and some I'm getting to know. Mr. Fox used to write such good articles when I was a kid. So I'm just thankful. I'm thankful to Tony and the committee that they thought of me to let me be one of the people that get to come up here. Okay, best father, Coach Greenberg sent a tape of me when I was in 9th or 10th grade to the University of North Carolina and said, hey, and it was on a beta tape for the kids. You don't even know what that is. It was on a beta tape when no one knew who I was. And he said, hey, there's this kid from Binghamton that you might want to take a look at, okay? I never played for Mr. Greenberg. I watched him at the Y a whole bunch, people from here. He was the dude that could shoot when I was a young kid, okay? When I was young, Mickey Greenberg was all over the city of Binghamton if you were a basketball player. So I feel like I know her and I know the Greenberg family well. Mr. Stanton, I got sent to the office with Mr. Stanton so many times, and he knew my father so well, and he would make deals with me that he wouldn't tell my dad, because he knows I would have got a whooping, okay? It's funny, Master Hadio Chai, I have a friend that lives down in New Jersey with me, and anytime she's talking junk to me, I say, you better watch out, because I'll go Hadio Chai on you, okay? Like it's just, I am truly honored to be here, that I get to do this, okay? And the other day I got to talk to Roger on the radio, and I almost started crying on the radio, okay? And it's like, whoa, King, come on, you have no chance when you get home if you start crying on the radio, okay? But I'd have to say, you know, I owe everything to my family. Some of you in this town knew my father before I got here. You knew the man he was, and then he has a kid and he names him King David. So I know you thought he lost his mind when I first came on the scene, okay? And the way my dad raised all of us, I'm so happy that my brother Pat is here. Pat, please stand up for a second. He's all humble and shy, all right? You know, I had 3 older brothers, Pat, Michael, and Donald. My mother, Peggy Rice, who I got in trouble with because I didn't pre-order her a ticket for tonight, and she couldn't believe that I was coming to this, and I didn't want my mother to be here. So everybody here, I truly wanted my mother to come tonight, okay? I really wanted her here. It meant everything to me. She just couldn't make it this time, okay? But I'm announcing to everyone, I wanted my mother here, okay? I could not have done anything without my mother, okay? I want everyone to know that. But some of you knew my father, and you knew him well. And when I was a senior in high school, and I thought I was the coolest kid, and I thought I was this big-time football and basketball player, my dad was the most unreasonable dad ever. He would not let me go out after the football games or the basketball games. I'm like, Dad, how can I be cool if I have to be home at 9:30, 10 o'clock? And he would make it earlier if I said anything, and then I would have to talk to my mother, okay, and try to be able to do some things. But I do this. I don't write things down because I get too nervous when I do it. But I want to thank a lot of people. Okay, I was fortunate to be able to go to the Y when I was a kid, trying to follow behind my big brothers. And Jeff Lake used to let me play on the team there, and I know Jeff is here today. Okay, I played at St. Mary's. I played for Jim Pace and Mr. Stenham. All right, they were my coaches. I was in 4th or 5th grade, and they let me play CYO Grammar School. There was probably a lot of you in this room that allowed me to play, and I thank you for that. Okay, but those two helped me when I was very young in basketball. I had Mr. Gaetani as my baseball coach. All right, I had Fran Heath as my Pee Wee football coach, and all the people on his staff. Okay, Dave Pisagno over here, his mom worked at the school, but he would come back, and I would hear he was the greatest quarterback when I was a young fella. Okay, there were so many people from this town that I looked up to and I admired, and now I get to come up here and say thank you. Okay, and then in 8th grade, I played for Mr. Nanny. Y'all don't even know, Mr. Nanny kicked me off the team in the summer because I wore my shades in the building at Seton Catholic. He kicked me off. He said, "You'll never play at Binghamton High School. Get out of here." And I was like, "All right, I'll show you. I'll go to Seton." And my dad, I walked home. I told my dad, and my dad said, "Walk your behind back up there, and when you get back, you better be back on that team." Okay, so Mr. Nanny did that for me to help me understand I wasn't so cool. Okay, and then Mr. Cordial, you guys know, Mr. Cordial called me, and I would have been really hurt if Mr. Cordial tried to make it here tonight. He's in Florida with his family. He was going to try to do this real quick flight to get up here and do this, then go back and do something else, and then have to drive home. Everybody in the room, I love Mr. Cordial, okay? He helped me in recruiting. He helped me when I was not acting right down in North Carolina. He continues to help me as a man. So I feel like I owe everything to the town of Binghamton, okay? All of you played a part in me getting to do a lot of cool stuff right now, okay? I get to go around the country and look for kids, to find kids to give them a chance at an education, which was the only thing that my father wanted for me, was for me to get an education, okay? All of you played a part in that education for me. I'm probably the most proud, and I won't say I'm more proud than anybody, I'm as proud as any Binghamton person can be, because the people from Binghamton are tough-minded people. We don't stay down. We get up. We get dealt hard hands sometimes. We get back up and we move forward, okay? I'm not going to make the mistake of not saying hello to my wife right here. Summer, please stand up, because I would not be here. I haven't. Stand up, honey, please. Okay? I would not be a man without her. Okay? I would not be a man. I had too many drinks in my day. Sober for 18 years. She's the reason. She's helped me become a better man. Okay. I get to be a good father because a lot of people in the room showed me what being a good father is. I had a great example at home. I have a great example, as my brother Pat shows me every day, what being a good father is. And now I'm blessed with 2 young sons, a 14-year-old, and then I'm crazy, guys. I went back again. We got a 3-year-old, so I got 16 more years to go before I get to retire, even think about it, okay? But I thank everybody, the committee. Thank you for giving me this chance to come home and be with these great athletes that were up here. I'm glad. I told Coach Angeline, I never had success against Endicott in football. Okay, and then Brian Jester sitting there, he was on the team when we couldn't beat Endicott. All right, 10th grade, couldn't beat them. 11th grade, we won. And then I told him 12th grade, I was on an NC State visit, and they onside kicked us the first play of the game, and Endicott beat the tail out of Binghamton that night, and I got the information on the phone. Okay, so a lot of respect to everybody up here. I'm glad I went to Binghamton when I did, because it sounds like if I would have went to Vestal when he was there, or if I would have went to Endicott in a lot of different years, I might not get to stand up here. So thank you, Binghamton, for having a school, okay, because people were doing great things, and this is a cool honor for me, and I'm glad that I got to do it with some great people here. Last thing, my assistant coach, Rick Callahan, he cries all the time, okay? He's helped me as a kid. He told me, he's a Syracuse coach, and he told me before I chose North Carolina, and I understand he was the Syracuse coach, and he got so close with my family that he understood that I had to graduate from college. I was the first one in my family to go. Coach Callahan told me, if you were my son, I would send you to the University of North Carolina because they make sure you graduate. How can someone give you better advice than that? So I'm indebted to him forever. Now he's my assistant coach. He keeps me in line. I'm yelling at kids too much, cussing too much, and he grabs my coat and goes, "Sit your blankety blank down." And I'm like, "Okay, Ricky." so he's still coaching me. But thank you to everybody here. There's still more coaches I could say, but Mr. Deinhardt was another one, football coach, Mr. Steno, Mr. Pelosi. So many people helped me have this opportunity. I'm grateful to all of you. I'm grateful for cheering for the people from Binghamton, for supporting me when I wasn't always doing the right things, and now supporting me as a grown-up and letting me share this with my family. Thank you, proud Binghamton kid right here.
Thank you, James. Our next inductee, Raymond Stanton II. How many TC Jets are out here? Ah, there you go, look at there you go. All right, some hands. TC Jets on hand here. Ray Stanton is the TC Jet, the man. 1960 quarterback at Binghamton North High, inducted into the Section 4 Hall of Fame. 1961 went to the Augusta Military Academy and was selected as an all-state Virginia quarterback. The following year, got an athletic scholarship to Auburn University in the Southeast Conference. Also, was a freshman football coach at SUNY Cortland back in 1964. High school football coach at Binghamton North from 1967 to 71. The founder and the head coach of the Triple Cities Jets, 1970 to 72. And as a quarterback, selected MVP in all league with a tremendous run in the Empire Football League, 2 championships. Also the general manager of the Jets from 1973 to 78, co-founder of the BC Jets in 1997 to 98. They just crushed people when they came back. 1995 also, outside of football, selected the Small Business Person of the Year by the Broome County Chamber of Commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, won't you please welcome a gentleman who has given a ton of time to our community and a tremendous quarterback, coach, you name it, he's done it with the TC Jets and much more. Ray Stanton II. Ray? Thank you.
I have to say that I'm quite humbled, number one, to be selected into this first group of Hall of Famers. And it means so much to me because I know so many of them. And I've had personal relations with so many of them. And what an honor, what a humbling experience. And to talk, it's going to be hard, Carl, to compete with you. You did such a great job, and I'm certainly not going to compete with Heidi. And Kinger, where's your mom? I'd like to first of all thank all my supporters that came here. I think we got outnumbered by Heidi, but we got a bunch of them here. I've got family here, I've got friends here, and I've got Jets here. And I'd like the Jets that started in 70, played in the 70s with me, please stand up because you might remember them. Alvin Lally, Dave Birch, Joe Greco, Butch Osborough, stand up. My son Ray, my son-in-law here, they were stars on the 97 team, and it's nice to have them here, and it's hard to believe, 45 years ago. 45 years ago, 1970. And, you know, I've taught the Binghamton District for 27 years. I used to tell my kids that the world's like a merry-go-round, you know. Everybody gets on, and everybody gets off. You don't know when you're getting off. So guess what? Hang on and enjoy the experience. Hang on tight, because there's going to be highs and lows and fasts and slows. But hold on tight. Don't be afraid. Don't be anxious. Have fun. Because as a lot of us here tonight know, it goes very quickly. And I've been blessed. The merry-go-round I've been on, my wife Nikki and I celebrated 50 years. may have met her or seen her. She won a prize up here. Congratulations. Everything is 50-50, remember? My grandchildren are here, and I told them, come, because it's only going to be like 6:30 to 7:30. And they were so happy, and they were so proud of Grandpa, and they were smiling at me, and I noticed the last couple hours, they're like, giving me this different kind of look. I've been on a wonderful merry-go-round, 7 children, 40 grandchildren, 27 years in teaching, many years in football. Very quickly, in 70, I was 26 years old. And I hadn't gotten football out of my system. 26 years old, 4 kids, teaching math at North High School. And I wanted to put the helmet back on. My mother-in-law would say, you nuts? You got 4 kids. You get hurt. I went to a league meeting in Oleana to see what it was like, see if I could play there. And I was at the right place at the right time. They said, we need another team. Stanton, can you put a team in Binghamton? I had nothing. No money, no nothing. I go, yeah, sure. I come back and I called John Fox and the press and announced that we're going to have a semi-pro football team here in Binghamton. I go down to Zappia, Mr. Zappia Sporting Goods, and I walk in and I go, I need to price 50 outfits, 50 helmets, 50 shoulder pads, practice gear and everything. I want to price on the whole thing. He goes, well, what do you want to price for? I go, I got to know how much it's going to be. He said, I've been doing some talking to people, and you ain't got the money to pay it anyway, so what do you want to know the price? He says, let's do this. I'll give you the equipment. This is how Mr. Zappia was. This is how our community is. I'll give you the equipment. And if you have a good year, pay me back. And if you don't, I made a mistake. And I was off and running. I got equipment, I got the press backing me up. And the other thing I had was it was 3 years before hockey, and it was several years after we lost the triplet franchise because Route 17 went right through the stadium. So I didn't know it, but I had a perfect storm. I had a bunch of players that wanted to play. I had a community that was sports-minded but didn't have a team to back. And here we come in 1970. The league's averaging 500 to 1,000 people. The Jets open up in front of 8,000 people at North High Stadium. And it continued and continued. We had 3 beautiful years. We had, all the years were wonderful years, 85% win-loss record, but the first 3 years, you know, the first time and the first experience, it was like the first 3 years, 39-2 with 2 championships. The 2 games we lost were down in Scranton with Scranton officiating. So I consider it 41-0 and 3 championships. Not going to let them get away with it. We changed the league rules on officiating and started with mixed squads, and we beat them the next 9 times. But anyway, the merry-go-round that I've been on in this community, in education and sports and everything else, has been wonderful. And I'd like to thank the committee, thank all the hard work that went into this, and just remind you that hold on tight to that merry-go-round you're on. Life is good. Thank you.
We want to mention also our thanks to the logo designer for the Hall of Fame, John Ed Bonfett, fabulous logo that he designed for the Greater Binghamton Sports Hall of Fame. like to welcome now the man who organized everything tonight. Please welcome back Tony Qualiana.
Just a couple things, just to tighten up a little couple things. There's a questionnaire, everyone I hope has one. Please take the opportunity, if you haven't filled it out, please fill it out, or do it and send it to me. We do want your input. We're going to be here for hopefully many years to come after gone, so please, your input helps us for next year. If you get a chance, fill it out. The silent auction, if anybody right now is interested in it, you got the sheets on your table. Maya will go around and pick up anybody who wants to make a bid. Is there anybody who wants to bid on any of those 12 items? If there are, please raise your hand, and she'll be around to pick it up. Okay, there's one gentleman over there, Maya. There might be one there too. Please raise your hand or give it to me or Maya at the end of the dinner, so hopefully we can get you the prize if you want it, the gift. AFCO Screen Printing, I mentioned them before, is one of our major sponsors, and if you get a chance to see the plaques, especially the ones that will be in the Hall of Fame, they did all that work, and Pete Papastrat and Marsha Papastrat, AFCO Screen Printing on Main Street, fabulous work, and I'm indebted to them. Thank you very, very much. I've got to thank the group that did the most important work and came through 100%, is the Honoree Selection Committee. First of all, I want to thank Michelle Tiddick, and if she's still, I know she's been up here all night, can she come up one more time? Just a little gift. You don't have to come and give anything out. Now we're going to give you something. But Michelle Tiddick, I'm sure you all know her, former Bristol and Johnson basketball coach. Thanks a lot, Michelle. And thanks to Tom Cordial, and we'll catch up with him. Dave Birch, who not only is on the committee, he's played as a TC Jets. He's also the president of the American Football Association of all semi-pro football across the country, and great provider of help to our program. Dave, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, Dick Foley, former athletic director of Maine Animal, again, part of the committee. Thank you very much, Dick. This man is unbelievable. I don't know if you guys saw the news conference a month and a half ago, but this man walked in. I said, you know, you're the only guy, I know wears 2 hats right now. If you came out of retirement, you'd be wearing 3 hats. You're on the committee, you're on honoree inductee, and you could be interviewing yourself at that news conference. Who other but John Fox? Okay, the next gentleman, also integral part of the committee, and everyone knows him, does many, many things, has done it with soccer. Binghamton University, former soccer coach, but nationally, he's on all these other different boards, has done great work for soccer across the country, things I don't even know about, and probably 90% of people in this room don't know about. But he's I've always said, all the people I've ever known in my life, there's 2 most organized people in the world. Tim, and I said to him, Tim, you're supremely organized. You come in second. And he looks at me and says, oh, you mean like you're first? I said, Carl Gaffney is the most organized person I've ever met in my life. Anyway, Tim Schoen. Okay, next one is, again, we're very happy and proud, Visions Federal Credit Union. I know hopefully you're not sick of me saying it, but without them being the first, you guys would have been probably in California or Florida doing something else. But thank you, Visions Federal Credit Union. I know Tim Strong, the business manager, his wife just had a baby. I think I can't be with us. I don't know if Tyrone Muse is here, the CEO, but is anybody from Visions here that want to step forward and accept the gratitude that we have for you? Thank you. One person that had to leave, and she's been with me for the whole month or 2 months, whatever we've been doing, Amanda Marsico. She put together that program booklet that you have in front of you. She helped me get the people's tickets and the names and do the master list. Then I got involved with Pete sending bios over there. I don't even know if she did anything with our video person, Josh, but she did everything. And we couldn't have done it without her. So Amanda Marisco, I'm glad to leave. Thank you, Amanda. And I also want to thank, obviously, our featured speaker. It was so great to come and join us for the first event. And hopefully he'll join us in the future. He is a community person, so hopefully he can come and attend. He's got an open invitation anytime he wants. Chris Sneed. Thank you very much. You probably thought I forgot about somebody, but I didn't. The other gentleman on our committee is Roger Neal. And I don't know what his title he has. I know he's the sports director at WNBF. But to me, he's the voice of sports in the Southern Tier. For the first time, he picked up the mic, and hopefully he continues for another 100 years. I can't express my appreciation enough to him. He's a super guy. You all know him. But Roger, thank you for being on the committee. And thank you for emceeing. And thank you for just doing everything you do for sports. Okay, two other quick gentlemen, if I may. This gentleman is great. Very, very talented. He does many things. Some of you might know him from B-Sense. He does a lot of work for them as far as video. He came aboard last year when we did the Mayor's Roast for Mayor Matt Ryan, did the video, he did a superb job tonight. And on the last minute, he comes and is willing to tape the whole dinner as well. And that's Josh Williams of T×3 Video. Josh, come on up. Thank you, Josh. Get back to work, Josh. Thank you. And the last gentleman is one of the most unique people I ever know in my life. He's the gentleman who so nicely prepared, designed our logo. And to tell you how much he follows through on it, we got the logo, and then we get it trademarked, and then we need it to get the banner. But what happens is you got to get it vectorized. I don't know what the heck vectorized means. So John, do this vectorization, will you? So he sent something up. Well, if you do this thing, you got to do it a certain way. Something else might want, I don't even know what they're talking about. John, on his vacation, as he was touring the southern states, Florida, Caribbean, I don't know where he went. But I just said, make sure you come back for the dinner. Anyway, tremendous help. Created that logo. He's the artist, and he's great. Thank you, John. Have a bon fat. Where is he? That's my seat. Okay, lastly, congratulations. This is some night, a night I will never forget. Thank you, and the effort you guys made to come here, and I know for some of you it's difficult, and I appreciate it. I know everybody here in Binghamton appreciates it. Congratulations. Thank you very much for coming. You people, thank you. You're going to support this, hopefully. Please continue to support us. The second one will be on Monday, April 18th next year. Thank you for coming, and see you then. Thank you.